Hi, I'm Dex. I'm Dexter Gelfand, and I call my practice therapeutic spiritual counseling. There's two main drives or directions in therapeutic spiritual counseling, and they align with each other. One is relief from whatever disturbs or inhibits you or compromises your outlook and your attitudes and your behaviors. And the tools for that do exist in therapeutic spiritual counseling. These are accomplished rather easily. And the other part is spiritual enlightenment, spiritual enhancement, connecting consciously with your spiritual powers and capabilities. And that's really a matter of letting yourself have those powers and abilities and use them. Giving yourself permission. The biggest reason why we don't give ourselves permission to be bigger than we are in any sense is the fear that some bad will come of it or will do some kind of harm. So we're going to build on the positives here. It's very simple. You'll see how you've actually been using your magic quite a bit in your life. And in looking at how you have and what's happened, recognizing that nothing bad happened. It was okay. So it's okay now to give yourself a little more and a little more and a little more. So you do, in fact, use your magic, your spiritual capabilities, the ability to know something is going to happen, the ability to make something happen, just by the power of deciding for that to be. Think about all the times when you wished for something to happen. Maybe you prayed for something to happen, or you envisioned something to happen that would be really great, really good. And then it just seemed to fall out of the sky into your lap. You can think of times when that's happened. Well, of course, you're making it happen with that light thought about it. When you're not coming up with reasons why it couldn't or shouldn't happen, then it does. How many times have you thought about a person and then they contact you very quickly after that? Or you think about a subject, whatever it may be, and then you hear it discussed right in front of you or mentioned right in front of you. Or you open a book and it opens right to the page with the information you were looking for. How many times does that happen? It happens all the time, right? It happens a lot. Think of these times, each of these times when such a thing has happened, and there's something you wanted to have, and somehow here it is. Something you wanted to happen. Lo and behold. We can all think of examples of this. That is you making it happen. That's your magic. That's it. It's not coincidence. I'll give you one example. I'll give you a couple examples of myself, okay? When I was a child and collected coins, I wondered what the nickel looked like before the buffalo nickel. And or the Indian nickel, it might have been called. Anyway, I had a dream. I must have been I'm guessing about 8 years old. And in the dream, I saw what it looked like, that nickel. And, a few days later, I was able to look it up and see a picture. And it was what I saw in my dream. Or back in 1980, I heard on the radio about a New York Mets baseball game that day. Now, I hadn't been to a baseball game since the 60s, and it was 1980. And I thought, that would be really cool. It was the Mets against the Giants. And that was significant because my dad's favorite baseball team was the Giants. I thought it would be really great to go to that game. And shortly thereafter, the phone rang. It was my uncle saying, hey, I've got a couple of tickets to the Mets game today if anybody's interested. I hadn't thought about going to a baseball game, in probably 13 or 14 years. And I had the thought I'd like to do that. And here's a phone call saying, here's your free tickets. Right? How many times have things like that happened for you? They're just kind of fascinating, aren't they? Like, wow, what a coincidence. But there's a little bit of a thrill, a little bit of delight that tells you there's something more to this, something good. You know, there's some sort of spiritual nature, God being with you or on your side. Okay, that is your spiritual power and capability. Think about all these occasions, whatever comes into your mind, one after the other, of where you had a light thought about something you wanted to have happen. You hoped, you wished, you prayed, or you simply envisioned, just got the idea of it happening. And like, here it is, or you thought of somebody and they show up. Anything like that, where, first comes the thought and then the manifestation of the thought. That is your spiritual magic. That's what it is. And that's why it's happened more than 1, 2, or 3 times in your life, because it's not coincidence. And so if you can recognize these things, go over them, think about each one of them. There's a wonderful feeling for each one of those. There's a pure feeling, there's a light feeling, isn't it? It's you connecting with your wonderful, pure, unlimited spiritual self, your powers and capabilities. It's a real good feeling. That's you. I mean, that's home. That's where you really live. So when you think about that, it's only good. It's wonderful. So when you think about being able to make things happen or create bigger things or whatever, look at it in that light, that only good things result from that. It's okay. Just allow these things to happen. Whatever you desire is just here waiting for you to be able to accept it, able to have it, willing to have it, really willing to have it, not thinking it couldn't or shouldn't be. It's that simple. If you didn't have internal oppositions to the things you desire, there'd be nothing stopping them from manifesting. So recognize from all the great things that have happened that way for you, you had a thought, a vision, a desire, and wow, it actually happened. That's because that was a moment when you weren't thinking of why it couldn't or shouldn't happen. It was very pure. So you can do this more. You can have that pure envisioning of what you want to have happen, because your experience has always been that when it did happen, it was okay. It was completely okay. So you can allow yourself, give yourself permission to have more of this spiritual ability, this essence of you, to have things happen, have things manifest that you desire. Not complicated at all. So that's how you build on your positives. Recognize these things have happened many times. They do happen. It's because you're allowing them to happen. You have the desire, you have the interest. And so, unopposed, that's what happens. So there's no need to oppose these things, is there? Because it's always been okay when it happened. Think about that. And let yourself take advantage of what you're capable of, that you can do very easily, without any opposition, without any opposing of you, anything you have to push against. And now you're using your magic. Of course, I do have techniques to help to enhance this, to get the oppositions out of the way, and to actually apply these abilities. You can reach me through my website, which is dexsessions.com. Just as you see it here. This and many more enlightening truths and techniques will be available soon to you in bookstores and online, with the publishing of my first written book, Honoring Your Spiritual Compass. I have 3 more books lined up behind that, which also are enlightening spiritual subjects and information. This book is a very practical explanation, giving you an understanding of the dynamics behind the apparent dynamics of life and what we're capable of, and how we can remove those barriers. It's actually got techniques that you yourself can apply. So again, contact me through that website, decksessions.com. I'd be happy to give you a free introductory session. And I promise you that you will see things you want to have happening, things you want to resolving, the way you want to be, and what you want to have. Because it's all about recognizing and dismantling your own internal oppositions, granting yourself permission to win. I look forward to hearing from you.